boys. Thank you, gentlemen. Tomorrow on this program, Shelley Winters will be here, and this woman, her name is Editha Merrill. She is 78 years old. Did you hear about this over the weekend, Paul?
I didn't know.
This woman was flying with friends somewhere in the Southwest, and the person piloting the plane became ill, heart attack, died, and she, Editha, brought the plane back in for a landing. 78 years old. So,
those old chicks are really something.
No.
Cheap, I know.
It's not why I brought it up. But this is like my worst dreams come true, you know. My next guests have been here several times before, and it's always a pleasure to welcome them back. They are the hosts of their very own syndicated television show called At the Movies with Siskel and Ebert. Please welcome film critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Roger.
Nice to see you again, Sharon. Gene, how are you? Won't you gentlemen please have a seat? You guys are nice folks. I always look forward to having you on the show. I enjoy your program a great deal.
Nice. I like yours as well.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. Let's talk about, we're toward the end of the year. Christmas is, any blockbusters to look forward to
I think
here?
one of the best film of the year so far would be The Right Stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's already out, and I think it's a terrific film, and I like it.
It's a real shame it's not making it at the box office. There's another picture.
It's not doing well at all, or just
not doing that well
barely?
at the box office. People think it's about John Glenn running for president.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
But
I think it's more interesting than, frankly, seeing the real astronauts. More interesting than seeing Luke Skywalker, frankly. But young people are not going to see this picture. They would rather see Luke Skywalker.
Now, is it because...
oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, but this is interesting because this was a major piece of American history.
It was shocking to Hollywood that this movie didn't make $100 million in the first 3 weeks it was out, practically.
Now,
everybody was sure it would be a hit.
I read some people speculated that it was not promoted properly. People were misled about it.
Now they say that. If people had gone to see it, it would have been promoted properly.
Yeah.
But what I'm surprised at is that young people, literally...
You have a point, sure.
Young people have avoided it.
Yeah.
That's the one audience that they're not getting.
It's got lots of spapeships in it. It's got a lot of action.
Very exciting. And some great pieces of acting. Lee Von Helm is good in it. Sam Shepard is terrific in it.
Excellent.
And is
Ed
it
Harris.
Dennis Quaid?
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Fred Ward.
I keep wanting to say, though, this Wednesday another movie is opening, Terms of Endearment, that I think is one of the most fantastic movies. They had a party here in New York last night and showed it. Were you there?
No, I was
You
not
haven't seen it
invited.
yet?
No.
It's too bad. I wasn't there either.
No, I
I
hear
was at
it's
home
very
watching
good also.
Alice.
Watching Alice. What do you know about the movie?
I have seen it, though. It's a fabulous movie with Deborah Winger and Jack Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine, and 30 years in the lives of a mother and a daughter and the crazy astronaut who lives next door. That's Jack Nicholson. And it's a really warm, heartwarming movie. It's funny, too.
Most films you get one relationship at the most. And in this film you have three going on. You have the mother and the daughter. You have the mother and the Nicholson character, the neighbor across the street, and you also have the daughter and her husband. And it's a terrific film.
Nicholson has this parade of one-night stands through his bedroom, and his next-door neighbor is Shirley MacLaine, who puts up with this for 15 years and finally goes out to dinner with a guy, and they fall in love.
Is he good as a former astronaut?
Oh, yeah. He's
He
better
is
as a former astronaut than he would have been as a present astronaut.
He's one of the few stars that can just smile, and it's very funny. Yeah. He is a classic movie star from the old days.
He's got the eyebrow, you know.
Yeah.
It goes up and you know that there's something going on.
Yeah, you get a look at him and there's somebody else driving. You get that feeling.
The lights are on, but there's nobody
That's
at home.
right. Now this won't be a Christmas release. This is already out.
Thanksgiving, but I think it's going to run for a long time.
It's much easier actually to predict what the worst movies of the year are going to be than the best, because there are other films coming out that people are waiting for.
Okay, it helps us to predict them is the fact that we've already seen them.
Yeah. You have a list already compiled of the worst
We
films?
have a short list that we don't think we'll have to revise too much.
Let's
In other
go
words,
to
it's
work
going to
on
be very difficult for any film to come out at Christmas time that will be worse than, for example, this film called Nate and Hayes, a pirate movie. Now, if you were going to name a pirate movie, do you think you might pick Captain Blood or the Seahawk?
Those would be good titles.
Those would be good titles.
Yeah.
Would you pick Nate and Hayes?
No.
I'd pick that title if I were going to make a delicatessen movie.
How about a movie about a clothing store, Nate and Hayes, discount?
Nate and Hayes?
Yeah.
That would be
Vincent
good.
Canby had a great line in the New York Times. He said he knew he was in trouble when the 1850 pirates started talking about anti-colonialism.
Yeah.
No, this is
Worst
not really.
movie- worst
Errol
movie title.
Flynn never used that word in his entire career.
It's a college board test. Which is not a pirate movie? Nathan Hayes, The Seahawk, Captain Blood.
Yeah, not a good film.
A bad title to begin with.
But a recent release, right? No,
Just
It's out,
out this last
it's out
September.
right now. We have to
Okay.
talk fast.
All right, Nathan Hayes, what else don't you care for?
The Man Who Wasn't There.
I never
This is,
never heard
you
of
missed
this
this one, yes. This is a 3D movie with an invisible star,
one. 3D.
which is, it's Steve Guttenberg plays the invisible guy, and it's kind of hard to see him most of the time. He disappears, and then occasionally he will appear unexpectedly, for example, to Moon, the Russian ambassador.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with 3D is usually they throw things at the audience, and in this movie, because the star is invisible, he cannot throw anything at the audience, nor can he be thrown at the audience, which would have been a great idea in the case of this story.
3D is really, this is the year of 3D because other contenders for the worst movie of the year would have to be Jaws 3D or the one that I just saw 2 days ago here called Amityville 3D.
The amazing thing about this, I saw an ad where it said, "This is not a sequel." This has nothing to do with the Amityville horror.
Oh, no,
different
nothing
film.
to do.
Has nothing to
It's
do
just
with it.
coincidental that the letters came up the same. and here's a bigger coincidence. There have been 2 before, and this one is called Amityville 3D. That's a real coincidence.
If they make another one, it could be Amityville 3D 4.
Right, right.
See, because Amityville 2 took place before
We
Amityville.
got a lot of great titles
If
this
you
year.
remember
No,
that,
I'm
you remember your
confused.
chronology of the original films. The second film took place before the first film, so the famous family in the Amityville horror moved into that house after everything that happened in Amityville Part 2 had already taken place.
All right. Now, here's the great thing about Amityville 3D. And it certainly isn't the 3D. The trend now in 3D, this is the job that we get in the from the PR departments of these companies. They try and tell us that now the trend is not to use 3D, more organically in the films, meaning very little.
Oh, I see.
When we got to see 3D, it was great. You would always get the billiard shot, that cue coming out, or like they do in, SCTV, where the guys are
You
bobbing
have to have
back and forth.
something thin in the middle of the screen so it will go out without touching the sides of the screen, which was not what happened in Jaws 3D, where the shark was bigger than the screen, so you just saw his teeth kind of protruding further and further over the audience. But at the side, he still stayed inside the screen. It
It would have been better if it had been Eel 3D, if you follow.
That would have been fabulous.
Just like a guy with a really bad overbite.
Then there was Lonely Lady. Yeah, that would be fabulous. Letterman 3D.
Letterman 3D.
Then there was another one of the worst films is Lonely Lady with Pia Zadora. And she plays a screenwriter in this picture. She has an unfortunate early experience with a garden hose that kind of disturbs her. And then she marries a Hollywood screenwriter who has won the Oscar, but he divorces her because he grows jealous when she writes a perfect line of dialogue for a movie. They're stuck.
What's
They're
the
on the
line?
set. They're on the set and they're stuck. And here's the situation: the woman is beside the open grave. Her daughter is in the grave. They can't think of a line of dialogue. Pia comes up with a line.
Pia comes up with the line.
The line is, "Why?"
But let's go back to the unfortunate thing with the garden hose.
I'll tell you,
rather seen that.
David, it's your show, but if I were you, I wouldn't go back to the garden hose.
How about this? How about this? I just got it. If someone is already thinking it out in Hollywood right now, Lonely Lady 3D.
3D.
With the garden
With the
hose.
garden hose, yes. Now, we have film of this movie. We have film of Lonely Lady. Do you want to take a look at it, or?
It's up to you.
I don't. Of course, I got an advantage. I've seen it.
Okay. I think it's the scene you just described.
I
isn't
think it is.
Okay, this is from that blockbuster Lonely Lady, starring Pia Zadora. This could be it's not the garden hose scene. We're pretty sure of that.
My scene is coming up, and I really don't want any photographs taken.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Okay, no click.
Hi, Jerry Lee. George Valentine. I'm here doing a couple of days for Guy. They wanted me for soap, but I couldn't turn down a Thornton.
It's a good story.
Yeah, he's the best.
Excuse me, but I've got to talk to him.
Maybe we could have a drink sometime, huh?
Maybe. I'll check with Walter.
Who's that?
I don't remember his name. He's a day player.
How's the trailer, honey?
It's fine.
Hold on to that. I'll look at it later.
You're stuck on the burial.
I know Bud said I did some work on it.
You've what? Did you know about this?
I'm sorry. I thought I could help.
Stick to the job you're hired for, Jerry Lee. That's all the help I need.
Walter, take it easy.
Walter, I know her long speech says a lot.
There's a lot to be said.
Please read it.
I have.
This time read it.
The woman's burying her child, for God's sake. Her whole life's been filled with pain and hardship, and now the only thing she loves in life is dead. It makes no sense. She has to protest, for God's sake.
Right. So she looks at the preacher and asks, why? One word, that's all you need.
A poet might do it in one word, Geraldine, but I am a simple screenwriter writing for a simple audience.
That's all you need. I think we have to... Well, you've got to give Pia Zadora credit. She is the obvious interpreter for the works of Harold Robbins.
All right, we're gonna hose down the audience now. We'll be back with Siskel and Ebert. Okay. Welcome back, folks. Siskel and Ebert are here. You gentlemen spend an awful lot of your lives in motion picture houses, don't you?
I spent a lot of my life coming right out to right where we are right now.
The old candy counter. Now,
always do this first. Stop here first.
Stop here first. Now, is it possible for humans to sustain themselves on this kind of food over any prolonged period of time?
Theater rats have done it for 45 years.
Theater rats.
I think
You haven't done a
probably
bad
could.
job yourself.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My secret, David, is I think Raisinets in particular. They
You like the Raisinets?
They have raisins in them.
I love it. Health food.
Now
This is the candy health food.
You've got to
Raisinets.
have protein.
Milk chocolate covered raisins. Okay.
That's right. So you got your
Raisinets
raisins,
would be
then
good.
you got your protein and your nuts there.
I want to say
Jordan
one thing
almonds.
about those. You know, they have this book, Real Men Don't Eat Quiche. Real men don't eat Jordan almonds.
Woo! Hey, that's what when I was growing up, that's what we believed.
That's what we did. In the 50s,
Yeah,
you were a little strange if you ate German almonds.
No
kidding.
Those were
Sprinkles
girls'
in them.
candies.
Good heavens, you're taking it on the chin tonight.
Then
Roger.
well, I didn't eat them. No,
okay.
I always ate sugar babies, actually.
All right, and these, you like these guys also?
Here's what I want to know. I never knew this when I was a kid. How do you pronounce this word?
What did you
No,
say?
this
man?
is not the one. These are the J-U-J-Y.
Juju. See, here's the confusion.
No, see,
Here's
that's the one that you always think
Juju.
of.
Jujubes.
Yeah, jujubes, and these
And
are
Juji
Juji
fruits.
Now, we
They have a new candy out called, very popular candy called Juji Softies.
Juji. That sounds like a very...
Because this breaks your teeth.
Yeah. You guys really have a difficult
This is a
job. I don't
consu-
think people realize the kind of pressures that go along with this job.
I want to give you a consumer tip. Have you ever gone in and bought popcorn in the theater, notice a little tab here, and if you tear it off, and there's a star underneath, you get a free ticket?
I
never had that
I must say that
experience.
that's not happened to me ever.
Do you know why they do that?
No, sir, I
Do you
don't.
think it's to promote the sale of popcorn?
I would guess so, yeah.
It's to prevent the recycling of empty popcorn boxes. See, because the usher could pick up your empty box and give it to the popcorn person. They could refill it and sell it to the next person. And if you ever get a popcorn box that has the tab already torn off, I wouldn't eat that popcorn if I were you.
So when you say recycle, you mean just pick it up off the floor?
Pick the box up off
right.
the floor. Yes, because they have no way to keep inventory on the
Check the
popcorn.
rim. Check the
my.
rim.
So this would be a hint of any of you popcorn sellers out there are going to be working in the theaters tonight.
But, you know,
You don't have tabs on the box.
I was always under the opinion that anything that hit a theater floor was there for life. That you could never get it up off of there.
Including some of the ushers.
Yes.
It took 3 paramedics to get Gene off the floor today to come and do it.
The other thing is,
So I
here
had to
is
go
what's
3
wrong.
days.
Here's what's wrong with theater popcorn.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
all
that's
seen
that
these.
fresh popped
and
popcorn.
real fresh, right?
Yeah.
Just having to pop right out with a plastic bag around it.
Sure.
That actually comes from Taiwan, that popcorn.
Really?
Yes.
The ushers, you know, come in like this. It's a real heartening sight. You know, they're not in the theater. They're just hauling this stuff like Santa around. The one tip that I can give you is that, and you'll see a lineup of already filled boxes.
Yeah.
All right. And then they put just 3 drops on top, you know, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
And it's not much. It never gets down to the bottom. What I always ask, and
it's not even butter.
Well, it's been sitting there. No, they have. If you look at the ingredients on this thing, if you look at the ingredients, you'll see in the last ingredient in the topping most used is something called an anti-foaming agent.
Oh, my.
Here's my tip, though. This stuff has been standing around for a long, long time. Say, could I have some butter in the middle? And what they'll usually do is get you a new one. And you say, so they put a little in here, and then they fill it up.
And then they have a real short
I see.
attention span.
And you get more that way, and it gets all the way through. So
exactly.
ask for butter in the middle.
But it's not actually butter. It's kind
Ask
of
for
a
anti-foaming agent in the middle.
anti-foaming agent. Or you can just take your own STP with you. It's pretty much the same stuff. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your thoughts on the movies and also here at the snack bar. We'll be back, folks, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.